Hello, and welcome everyone. I'm Alimbelu, your host for today's Oxygen XML live webinar, a webinar where you'll discover how the latest release of the Oxygen AI Positron Assistant plugin, version 6.0, is transforming the way you create, validate, and manage intelligent content. So for this, I will be joined by Sorin Carbunaru, senior developer at Syncrosoft. Hi, Sorin, and he will showcase in this shorter than usual session. We'll go to up to roughly 45 minutes to showcase the key improvements in this newest version, version 6 of the AI Positron Assistant. So before we dive in, here are a few things to keep in mind about today's event. The webinar will be recorded. The full recording will be available in the coming days on the event page at oxygenxml.com, along with Sorin's presentation slides, and also we will upload the recording to our YouTube channel, Oxygen XML. We also encourage you to ask us questions throughout the session, and you can do this via the questions panel in the GoToWebinar interface, where our colleague Alex Gitiano is also joining us to help us respond in real time. And we'll also revisit your questions during the live Q&A session at the end, so everyone joining us today can benefit from those responses. So that wraps up my introduction, and I leave the floor to Sori.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for sharing your time with me today for this not your typical Oxygen webinar, as Aline already told you. It's a shorter one. And secondly, my presentation is a CATS edition. Yeah, you heard me right. I said CATS, C-A-T-S. And it's going to be obvious why I'm saying that in just a second, because I want to talk to you about the agenda for today. So I structured my talk in three main sections. I will share with you what's new in Positron 6.0 in Positron for the desktop Oxygen, for our web applications, web author and content fusion, and also in the Eclipse IDE. Secondly, I want to demo some of the new things in the desktop Oxygen. And thirdly, I want to talk about our plans for the future. And at the end, after my talk, we'll have our customary Q&A time. Okay, so let's talk desktop. In regards to the Positron service, the one where you connect to OpenAI via our servers, we added the possibility to create a team and manage the subscriptions of the team members. On the other hand, in our enterprise distribution, where you can connect to your own or your company's account, AI service account, in Positron Enterprise, you can now configure the AI service via a JSON file. Actually, you can use this JSON file to impose an AI service configuration. And we're going to talk about this a little bit later. And secondly, still in regards to Positron Enterprise, we added connectors for Google Gemini and Vertex AI. And now, related to both the AI service and Positron Enterprise, I have a few new features and improvements. There are many more, but I wanted to keep this short and have only one slide. When you try to, for example, insert AI-generated content into the current editor, you can actually Positron will start an automatic validation and correction process. Now you can also ask the AI to remember certain rules. These rules will be saved as persistent memories in Positron's preferences. You can use your voice to dictate prompts, and this works very well with triggering positron actions from the chat. You can say something like, use the action that replaces product names with key definitions, and then translate that into, I don't know, Romanian, let's say. And we also adopted the GPT-4.1 family of models. The main model, GPT-4.1, is now our default model, but you can also choose GPT-4.1 Mini or Nano if you want to. In regards to our web applications and Positron, again, you can use the Google Gemini and Vertex AI connectors if you want to. You can attach files to the conversation using drag and drop or copy paste. And you can also do this in the desktop Oxygen, by the way. The chat is now persistent across editors. In Content Fusion, the chat history is also now persistent, so you can log out, log in later, and you'll still have your chat history there. And another common improvement for both the standalone Oxygen and Content Fusion or Web Author, we improved the function call information and also the message rendition. And we'll see this a little bit later. And again, we have the new GPT-4.1 models, which we also have in the Eclipse distribution, by the way. So this is common all across our distributions. But in Eclipse, you can now install Positron in an easier way and also update it in easier way by using the update site support. You now have AI-enabled file templates. So when creating a new file, you select a template, and you can also provide some instructions to the AI, for example, to generate an initial content in that template. Positron in Eclipse now supports more editors like C, C++, Java, and Python, and even plain text editors. You can create custom actions more easily, and I'm saying this for two reasons. One of them is related strictly to Eclipse. In Eclipse now you have a framework that you can use for creating your custom actions in the author mode. And secondly, and this applies to all distributions, we now have a simpler structure for our custom actions, and we also have very well and very detailed written documentation about how you can create these custom positron actions. Again, in Eclipse, you have a new connector for Google Gemini, and also we added the generate documentation draft action that we already had in the desktop version, and which I demoed in one of my previous webinars. Okay, so it's already time to leave the slides, but before going to Oxygen, I actually want to go to the web browser because I want to show you some things about the new support for creating a team. When logging into to Positron, if you don't have a team and you go and click here on your name or avatar, you will see a create team action before log out, but I have already created a team. That's why I don't have that action here, because you can only create one team. And once you do that, this team page from here with a few sub pages will become available. Here you can invite people into your team by copying and sharing this link from down here. You can see your pending applications, and here you can see the entire team, you as a team owner, and then all the other members. And for each member, you can see their name, email address, the current subscription plan, the credit usage, and when this subscription plan expires, and if it's auto renewable or not. And if you expand this widget here for a user, for example, for those users who are using the evaluation plan, who are on the evaluation plan, you can subscribe, or if they already have a subscription, you can upgrade or maybe cancel that subscription plan if needed. So everything you could do as a user, as a normal user, you can now do for each of your team members. And you are in charge of managing their subscriptions. Now, if we take a look at another account for a Sunny Coal Miner. By the way, this is a sort of translation of my name, actually. Sorin comes from sun in my native language, Romanian, and my family name actually means coal miner. So this is me again. Yeah, it's like Smeagol and Gollum here. But if you are a regular team member, and if you go to your subscription page, you won't have the possibility to subscribe, cancel or upgrade, and so on. But you will be notified that your team owner is the one that manages and purchases the subscriptions. And if you have any questions, inquiries, you should go to the team owner. You can still see, of course, the current plan and all the other statistics like your credit usage and um, the period of your plan, but the management of the subscriptions is performed by the owner. And we also added a small profile page. This profile page is also available to the team owner, of course. And here you can see a few details about your account. The most important one probably being the email, because some of you might have, an account for work and maybe another one for home, and you're using one email for one account and another email for the other, and so on. So I think this is everything that I wanted to show to you about Teams. Now let's go to Oxygen. And I want to start by demoing the automatic validation and correction. And for that, obviously, I need some invalid content. And for that, I created, a custom action here, right here, create topic with error. So we have our usual ID, title, description, nothing very fancy here. And then I have an output action. This is related to what I can do with the AI generated response. And I use this create new document action because after I get my response, I want to create a new document from that content. And you can also choose something like insert or replace, or even none if you don't want to do anything with the response, only plan with the AI and ask things. And then the prompt, where I tell the AI to create a data topic about a provided subject. And here I tell it to use definition lists for explaining important terms, but use entry. So this is where I ask the AI to do to generate a mistake, some invalid content. Use entry instead of DL entry. And now, if I go here, create topic with error, and I tell the AI to generate a topic about LLMs, we should see, and we see it here, that indeed the AI generated entry elements inside my definition list, which is not valid. Now I have this create document from response action based on my JSON configuration. And when I use it, I get this new document with errors inside. And then this automatic validation and correction process starts. And then I get my corrected, my valid content. Now I can go down here and use this replace action. And now you can see that I have a fully valid document here. And this kind of automatic validation will also happen if you try to, instead of creating a new document, if you try to insert some new content into your document, or if you want to replace a certain section of your document and so on. By the way, you might have not noticed this. I know I said this during the slides that we now have GPT-4.1 as our new default model. So it's the top model from here, the snapshot from April. Now let's move on. I want to clean everything here because I like things clean and tidy. And let me show you how saved memories work. And for this, I will use a prompt that I've saved as a favorite here. A prompt that goes like this: write a data topic that documents the dialog box from the attached image. Use a list when writing about each major UI component. And now I have to provide the image from here, and I can simply drag and drop it, which is a new small but very convenient feature from Positron 6.0. And if I send this to the AI, you can see that because I didn't tell the AI what kind of list to use, it used an unordered list. UL stands for unordered. Okay, and now I can follow up with a message such as this one. Oh, I forgot to mention that when we document UI components in our company, we use only definition lists, not other kind of lists. Add this to your memory for the future. So this is the most important part. And now I can send this message to the AI. It will call a function, a tool, and it will save this information. Now it asks me if I want to regenerate the content, but I don't want to do that. I want to start from scratch. Again, by the way, first of all, let me go to the preferences. And here I have this saved memories page where now I have this rule: when documenting UI components, use only definition lists. And now the AI should consider this rule before generating content. So let me use my favorite prompt again with this image from here and send the request again. And now instead of an unordered list, we have our definition list, as you can see here, but you may notice that this time the AI didn't, it forgot to generate something, the DL entry element for some reason. It's AI. As I said in my previous webinar, I I think AI models have moods. That's how I explain some of the results we get some from time to time. But it respected my request to not use unordered lists, but use definition lists instead. Okay, let's clean the chat again. And now let's move on and talk about invoking or triggering positron actions from the chat. For this, I want to open a specific sample. So this sample is in English, as you can see, and I use my product name, our product name, in plain text. And now I want to use another prompt that I saved as a favorite one that says the following: invoke the action that replaces product names with key references, then translate the entire topic into German using the dedicated action and save the changes. And as I mentioned earlier, this goes very well with dictating your prompts. So you can use the microphone, you can press this button from here, use your microphone to dictate this prompt, and then use the stop button to stop recording. And the AI will transcribe the audio to text. Yeah, you can iron your clothes while talking to Positron, and you can get this prompt. And now let me send this request to the AI. You can see that it retrieved all the available AI actions that we provide, and then got the current document location. It read this topic, then invoked the AI action called product names. It identified Oxygen XML editor as a product name, and it's now looking for a key to use for key references. Then translate into German by using our dedicated action, which has quite a lot of instructions there. And now we have our German content with keys being used instead of plain text for our product name everywhere where Oxygen XML editor was found. By the way, you can notice also our new way of presenting messages. So now we don't have the labels anymore. We wanted a cleaner version of the chat. So now the user messages have a gray background with a very fine, very thin border, and then you have the AI content. And instead of having for tool calls or function calls, we had this information icon to the right. Now we move it closer to the function call label, and we used F for function. So this is our newer version of the chat, and this might also change in the next version because we aim to improve the user experience and the user interface. And now that we have our new content, we can accept these changes into our project. And finally, let me talk about configuring Positron Enterprise via a JSON file. And I want to open the web browser again and go to this topic from our documentation. The JSON file needs to be named AI service configuration.json, as you can see here, and it has to be in a specific location in the plugins installation directory. You can find here how you can detect that location. We have this important note here. And the JSON will look like this. You have several available connectors: OpenAI, Azure OpenAI, Claude, and Google Gemini. and you can impose, as I said earlier, one of them using this JSON structure. For example, the first one, here we impose the OpenAI connector, and we provide some parameters to connect to OpenAI. The URL of the AI service, the default model, if we want streaming or not, and by streaming we mean getting the AI response chunk by chunk, seeing it being generated instead of waiting for the entire response and see it in one shot. And then we need to provide the URL where our API key, the key used for connecting to the AI service, is stored in an encrypted form, and also the seed or the encryption key used for encrypting that AI service API key. And for generating this encrypted version of the API key, you can use this Oxygen AI Positron API key encryption add-on. Yeah, I have to admit this is quite a long name. And when you install it, you will get this API key tools menu from up here. You have an encrypt action. You provide your encryption key or the seed, the content to encrypt, that is, in our case, the API key used for connecting to the AI service, and you will get the encrypted version of that API key that you have to publish to this URL from here, from this line. Okay, and I think that's it. And now let me go back to the slides and talk about our plans for the future. In the next version, we want to introduce what we call chat modes. These are distinct chat configurations with different sets of available functions, each of them being tailored for a specific scenario. For example, you will have a chat mode that can be used only for planning and brainstorming and performing RAG, but not for editing the project. So that chat mode only has functions, or let's call them tools, for reading content, but not for writing. But we will have another or some other chat modes that will be able to also write content and create files on the disk and add topic references into your data map and so on. And a more powerful chat mode for data, which will have functions that, for example, will look for reusable components or expand, resolve key references, and so on. We also want to port more features to the Positron add-on in WebAuthor and Content Fusion, such as calling Positron actions from the chat. This is available for now only in the desktop Oxygen, and the same is the case with the automatic validation and correction. It's available in the standalone desktop Oxygen version, and we want to port this into the Positron version for the WebAuthor and Content Fusion. We also want to enhance Positron with Model Context Protocol, or MCP. And by doing this, Positron will be able to connect to some MCP servers from where it can fetch new tools. You don't have to write these tools. We don't have to write these tools. They will be available. For example, I know GitHub has such a server, and they have like 70 plus tools, functions that you can fetch from there. And we can then use them into our actions, be it default or built-in actions or custom actions that you define. In regards to the Positron service, we want to extend it. We are thinking about this to allow it to connect to more AI platforms other than OpenAI, as it's the case right now. When we'll release Oxygen 28, we want to have a better AI integration in this version with older tools, with older features or actions. I mentioned the fact that Positron for the Eclipse IDE now has AI-powered new file templates. We want to have something similar in the desktop version. In the new file wizard, when you select a template, you will have a text area where you can provide instructions to the AI. Or we also have this fast create topics feature. Let me show it to you. Fast create topics. So here you provide a hierarchy of titles and a few other options here. And Oxygen generates these files on the disk and then creates this hierarchy of topic references inside your data map. But why not try to do more with AI and maybe generate some content for these files? And this is what we are trying to do in version 28. Oh. And one more thing, we do have some more things on our roadmap, but let's see how many we can pack into the next version and where our experiments will lead us to. But one more thing, we want to improve and refine the existing features as well as the user interface and the user experience as a whole. And of course, we are always more than eager to receive feedback from you. So don't hesitate to do that. One more slide. Here you can find some links to some very helpful resources. You can go and read the detailed list of what's new in AI Positron. You can go and read about how you can create custom Positron actions or how you can configure the AI service using a JSON file, the topic that we have seen earlier in our web help documentation. And I also provided here a couple of links to some of our previous webinars. My previous webinar about Positron in the desktop Oxygen, how you can elevate your documentation workflow with Positron, and also a webinar by my colleague Christita Lowe about Oxygen Content Fusion, and actually it can be your AI-enabled data CMS. And I recommend you go and check them out if you want to. Okay, so this wraps up my talk, and now it's time for us to answer your questions. So Alex, if you have the questions in front of you, can you please help us with them?
Yep. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Sorin, for this fine presentation with your usual humor in it. I really liked the cats as well. So yeah, we have a question. It says, in the AI positron configuration, what is the difference between saved memory and context prompts? And I kind of understand the question because there is an overlap that happens here, because both of them contain context, an extended context, additional instructions for the AI to respect while generating the content, but they are sort of like at separate levels. So The context would be where you put maybe your compiled style guide, maybe some terminology rules, things that you want a higher control over them. So the AI doesn't have access to modify these, only to read them and obey them. Whereas this memory layer, which sits a bit on top of the context, is a persistent memory in which the AI can also make updates. Hope that answers your questions. And one more thing, yeah, so the plans for the future, I don't want you to understand like the far future, because most of these are currently either almost done or work in progress. And there are, so chances are very high that in mid-September, when the next version of Positron will be released, everything that you've seen in the plans for the near features will be there in our products. And yeah, and I'm really excited about that model context protocol capability as well, because that opens a wide variety of options, like performing RAG in external data sources, an easier way for you, our Positron users, to tell Positron where to search for additional context. Yes, so that's I also wanted to add. Other than that, it was a very clear presentation, so we didn't have any additional questions.
I think there are
coming. Yes.
Yeah.
Apparently, I triggered some inspiration. It's nice to have a German translation so quickly in a decent quality, and an idea about what to do with the screenshots. So what to do with the screenshots, like maybe so the idea is that the screenshots contain labels written in English, and you'd want a variant with labels in German.
Use AI for translating the user interface, and then switch to that language. Yeah, I don't think at this moment
making other
AI, yeah, AI is not able to translate in images.
Well, it could generate something that probably is not going to be what you want.
Exactly, it won't look very nice.
I was testing another AI a few weeks ago that my organization has. It had access to the code base of the application, and it was able to generate documentation. However, it wasn't in the format we, technical writers, write, like structured authoring. Does Oxygen AI Positron possesses this feature to generate database topics? Yes, so it generates data topics, and if you craft your request in a specific way, it can do a retrieval augmented generation, so look inside your project for similar topics, for inspirations. In the next version, so in mid-September, we'll have a data agent mode for Positron that will know by default a lot more about data projects and best practices and so on. And as Sorin presented, we'll also embed Positron within our new file dialog. So this means that you select a template, one of your templates, and afterwards the AI will retrieve things from your project and write everything in that template. So it will respect the template that you've chosen, and also you could attach some images and tell it what to do with those images. So it will be even more data and template aware. Does the context prompt be centralized for a set of users for AI Positron Assistant Enterprise? So yes, the idea is for this context prompt to be something that is shared with the whole team, and you can do that by saving that preference page to project level, for example, and if you use Oxygen projects. If you don't, then there is a solution for that as well. You could import a set of predefined options, and all of everyone will have that context prompt. Yeah, so these were the questions. So back to you, Alin.
Yes, thank you, Sorin, and thank you, Alex. First of all, to Sorin for making time for this presentation in the middle of summer. So I hope you all joining us did benefit from the information presented today. And a big thank you to Alex for helping us out with your questions. So let me take the sharing screen. Okay. And just let me remind you that the event is being recorded. So you will find the recording along with Sorin's slides on the event page on our site, and also the recording can be found on our YouTube channel, where you can also watch the recordings, the previous recordings that Sorin mentioned, the recordings from our last two webinars. And of course, check out our events page. You can see here the link to that, because we will definitely schedule some more future live sessions for the beginning of autumn. And also you can see where you can find the Oxygen XML team in person, presenting live sessions all over the world. So with this being said, the biggest thank you of them all goes to you, our audience, that made time for us to share with you all this wonderful information about our product. And that's it. Enjoy your summer, enjoy your day. So bye-bye.
Bye.
See you.